Hey everyone!
Hey!
We are here to set the record straight tonight and just give you our testimony of Joshua Media Ministries, what we've experienced and what you need to listen to, and you don't need to listen to the persecution, the deception, that the enemy is trying to tell you through, social media. So I'm here with Carly.
Hey!
And we want to share with you, some testimonies. So we've been in this ministry for 11 years, and why would we stay in something that was a cult for 11 years, right? How old were you?
Okay, 8.
Okay.
When Apostle first came.
She was 8 years old. We're still here. Now she's 18, so that doesn't even make sense. If it was a cult, we wouldn't be allowed to go to school. We wouldn't be allowed to have a job. We wouldn't be allowed to go on vacations. We can do whatever we want. You can have a job, whatever. This is not a cult. That's funny. You think about those shows about cults or whatever. This is nothing like that. And it's funny that people even say that. And that leads me to my next point. The people that leave this ministry and call it a cult eventually, like they leave, they're like, oh, this is not a cult, whatever. They
God
leave.
sent me here.
Yeah, then they leave and they call it a cult. It's like, brother, you're double-minded.
Like, for one, why would God even send you to a cult?
Exactly. But, the people that always leave, it's because either they get offended. That's the whole point. They get offended at something. And it's either they don't want to endure the process. Let's say they want to get married. They want to have a position, right? It's always that they want to have a position. So, there's people who are like, oh, well, I want to be the praise team leader. I want to be the pastor. I want to be an assistant pastor. I want to get married, but those are things you need to endure the process for. You can't just go out on the scene as a pastor when you have no experience, when you know nothing. And this is what Apostle does. He trains us. He shows us how to be a true minister, how to get into that position where God has called us to be. But we know that there's a process that you have to go through. And people who are weak-minded, they can't handle the process. They want things their own way. And so that's why they leave, because they can't get what they want. Truly. There's even people that have been in this ministry who thought that Apostle Taylor was their husband. And they got offended when they found out he wasn't. And so they left the ministry and then called it a cult. Yeah, suddenly it becomes a cult.
That's like the same thing, though, in the natural. Like, you can't not go through high school to get to college.
Exactly.
You have to get your diploma. This is like you can't just automatically come into a ministry and now you're the pastor or you're the worship leader. Like,
okay,
doesn't even make sense.
Would it make sense for you to go to medical school? You finish college, you're going to med school right after. You want to be a doctor. Okay, so you start. Let's say that you're in a fellowship or a residency, and you're going to become a doctor. Would you sit there and say, the doctor, I should be at the same level as a doctor? No, you go through the process. That's asinine. Like, that's foolishness to think, oh, I don't need to go through the process. I can just be whatever I want to be. There is a rank and there's an order just in the world as there is in the kingdom, because things are first natural, then spiritual. And so,
even when you think you have all the answers or you already know how to do it, then that one time happens and now you got to perform the surgery and you don't know how because you thought you didn't have to go through the process or the right steps to get to where you needed to be.
Exactly. And it's like, it doesn't even make sense, because the people that leave the ministry and then they call it a cult, it's like, so then you're crazy because you just spent however many years saying, oh, this ministry changed my life, Jesus appeared to me, blah, 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 and then you leave and suddenly, oh, it's a cult, that was wickedness, it was witchcraft. That doesn't even make sense. You just look crazy. You look like you have mental problems. And it's just, people can't submit. That's the whole point. But I just want to go into some of the testimonies I've experienced being here, and I know that Jesus appeared to you too when Apostle first came. So what happened? When did he first come to you?
Well, when he first came to me, so I was 8, like I said in the beginning of the video, I was 8 years old when Apostle first came to our church. And I shared a room with my sister at the time. Not this one, the other one, Kayla. And she was spending the night at a friend's house or something. And I didn't want to spend the night I didn't want to sleep in the room by myself because I was scared. So I told my mom, I was like, listen, can I just stay in your room? Or she's like, no, you need to pray that like God is going to give you peace or whatever. That you can do it. Just sleep in your own room, whatever. So I was like, okay, mean. Anyway, so I went in there and I was praying, whatever. I was like, God, give me peace, let me. And then I fell asleep. And then the next morning when I woke up, I remembered the dream I had, and it was just Jesus was walking through this field of flowers and had his arms outstretched, and he was just walking towards me, and he was wearing the white robe, the sandy brown hair, yes. And he was just so, like, you could just tell he had so much love for me, and like, he's like, I'm with you, be peaceful. Like, it was just so comforting to have that.
That is so amazing. And I just have a question for you. Did Jesus ever appear to you from our old pastor, on behalf of our old pastor?
No.
Exactly, because Apostle Taylor has a face-to-face covenant. He's the face-to-face prophet of this generation. And you know, that's the whole reason why Satan wants to attack this move. It's not because, okay, you know, Apostle Taylor doesn't care. You can slander his name. You can, you know, Jesus said to make yourself of no reputation. So you think Apostle cares what you guys say about him, what people on social media say? No, he cares about the people, the innocent people, the sheep that we are to protect, that we are to make sure nothing bad happens to. But they're being deceived by people on social media. They're being taken out of God's will, and that's the whole point. You know, Apostle was sent here to save the world, to save America, because when he was 17 years old, Jesus appeared to him face to face in a dream. He was a gangster. He was on the streets doing drugs, selling drugs, shooting at people, having premarital sex, everything. The Lord appeared to him when he was 17 years old, and Jesus said, "Follow me." And you know, that night, he dropped his guns, he dropped his drugs, and you know, some of you watching know that you don't just drop your drugs overnight. You wake up one morning and you're like, oh, I don't feel like being a gangster anymore. No, that was divine intervention. Jesus appeared to him, and his whole mission, his whole ministry is to spread that to people all over the world. You can have a face-to-face relationship with Jesus, just as he came to me, just as he came to her, and the millions of other people following this ministry from all over the world. You know, there was people even from the Middle East who have seen Jesus face to face. They were set free, they were delivered. They were Muslims, Hindus, whatever. Jesus appeared to them. And even some of the Hindus, the ex-Hindus that we have on staff, they said, we used to worship so many gods. You know, we didn't even know what they looked like. We just worshiped thousands of gods. But you know, no man can change that. No man can say, oh, stop worshiping those gods, they're not real. It was one experience from Jesus, one face-to-face appearance that converted them, that changed their life. And that's what God is doing here. And so, you know, Apostle Taylor's mission is to save America through face-to-face, because the Lord said to him, you know, Apostle Taylor, he went to a shut-in. This was when he was younger. He's been in ministry for almost 30 years. And so he asked God, like, how can I save America? So he prayed for the healing ministry. He said, maybe if I become a healing evangelist, you know, America will be saved. So he was given that. He was doing miracle crusades. People were getting healed out of their wheelchairs. People were getting healed of cancer. But, you know, the world is still the same. So he said, okay, what about the gift of prophecy? If I can call out people's names, you know, that might draw people in, that might save the world. So, okay. He becomes, you know, he has that gift of prophecy. He's calling out people's names. The world is still in the worst condition it's ever been. You know, there's churches on every single street corner, but how come we're having the most school shootings? The most, you know, this is treacherous, the condition of the world right now. And so the Lord, Apostle Taylor went to shut away for 8 months in a church. He said, I don't care. I'm not coming out of this church until God shows me how I can save the world. And so one day the Lord walked through the walls during that shut-in, and he said, David, he said, did I heal you when I came to you? He said, no. He said, did I prophesy to you when I came to you? Apostle Taylor said, no. And so the Lord said, what did I do? And Apostle said, you appeared to me face to face. And Jesus said, that is what's going to save the world, face-to-face appearances. So, you know, that is the whole reason, because you know the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus came to give us life, and life more abundantly. And what do you see when people are, you know, slandering people's names? If you're, let's say, okay, tabloids, gossip sites, those things, they just take other people's lives and they put them all out on a magazine, all out online. They don't even know the people. They just put out all this garbage about them. And the people in the body of Christ are even worse, because you know better. You know, what does the word say about gossip? You don't do it. It's bad. But then there's people who have no, you know, relation to the situation at all. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to tell you what I think about David E. Taylor. Okay, it doesn't matter what you think. What does God think about David E. Taylor? Why don't you take it to God and ask him? Because I know what I've seen here. What about you?
And just with One Night with the King.
Oh my gosh. Yes, One Night with the King
started.
This big warfare that we just got, you know, they're like, oh, well, One Night with the King is going to be shut down.
JMMI is going to be dismantled.
They're saying, stop DET, you know,
now.
Jimmy is going to be canceled. But you know what? This was the biggest One Night with the King we've ever seen.
And
that's
the miracles.
Yes. I can't even go into that tonight. You'll see that tomorrow. You know, we'll talk about the miracles tomorrow. But, you know, that's the whole point. So if you're deceived by the things that you see online, by the people that you see on social media saying things about this ministry, just know that you're being deceived by Satan. They're being used by Satan, because how can you come against God's word? You know, there's people even on Facebook that will go on Apostle Taylor's page and angry react. He has, like, if he puts up a post that says, like, the Lord wants to bless you, people angry react to it just because they hate him so much. You know, so people don't even realize when you are going against this movement, this face to face with God, with Jesus, you are going against the God himself, the Father himself, you know, Jesus, the Holy Spirit. You are grieving
And don't be
them.
religious and say that we think that Apostle is God.
Yeah,
We're just
okay.
saying he's literally, like, this is not his ministry. Apostle doesn't claim this at all. He knows it's God's. He's going to do whatever he says.
Did you see him during the one night with the king? He said,
He was like, wait, nope, stop. God just told me to go into miracles.
yeah, but here's the thing, like, people will be like, oh, thank you for healing me. He's like, no. He openly says, no, this is not,
Yeah.
I'm not the
I'm
one
not
who
the
healed
healing.
you.
Jesus
Jesus did. And that's the thing. If it was a cult, you know, a cult would worship the leader. Cults worship the leader. Think about Charles Manson, you know? Oh, look who joins. Think about Charles Manson, you know, that whole cult situation. They're like, oh, we want to do everything for him. You know, we want to please Charles Manson, kill people for him, blah, blah, blah. If this was a cult, we would say, oh no, you know, David E. Taylor just healed all these people. You know, look at face to face with David E. Taylor. You know, no, this is not it. This is face to face with Jesus, face to face with the Father. Brother!
And one more thing. Have you ever felt forced to do anything?
No. Like,
Wait, can I ask you something? I just came on here. I just came over here to interrupt for payback for the last time. But I gotta ask you guys. I'm gonna interview you real quick. I'm gonna interview you guys real quick.
Okay.
Do you guys feel like you can do whatever you want at your own free will?
yes. And you know,
Without a
the
doubt.
thing about it is the people who leave this ministry and then call it a cult, they leave on their own will. It was
And can we say something else? The people who left, didn't want to be here anyway. So.
but they always like were sneaky about it. And
Yeah.
it's like
It's like, why are
but
you-
first of all, if you even had a chance to leave without a fight, that's how you know it's not a cult. If it was a cult,
And the thing is, Apostle always says, if you want to leave, go.
so it's
I
like,
think every single meeting we have with Apostle, he's like, if you don't want to be here, get up and go.
Right
Like,
now.
if you don't
Have
like
you guys
it,
ever-
please get up.
have you
Like,
ever been strapped
we'll
down to
help
a
you-
chair and
we'll
said-
help you pack your bags. Like,
Never.
I mean,
all right. Well, yeah. You know, this is not a cult. This is the culture of the kingdom. And if you can't, you know, if you can't get down with that, that's religion. You're being bound by religion and you don't understand. But I pray that God will open your eyes of understanding. You know, don't believe what you see online. That's pathetic. You know, go to God.
and why don't you ask the people that are here 24/7 or that are actually involved with the ministry and not people out on the outside?
Okay, yeah, that's the
okay.
other thing. People who have never even stepped foot in the building.
And they're like,
people,
oh yeah, it's a
people
cult for sure.
who have never, you know, even heard Apostles' messages, read his books, they're like, oh, that David E. Taylor, that's a cult. Really? Have you ever experienced it? No, that's embarrassing. So you guys just need to find out for yourself. You know, do your own research. Don't listen to what man says and go to God about it.
And check in tomorrow so we can talk about more miracles.
Yeah, we're going to talk about miracles tomorrow, okay?
And
All
another
right.
visitation because
All
I got
right. Bye.